Alright, and welcome back to fucking VRChat. Today we have a interesting subject that we're gonna be covering today. I wasn't really sure if I wanted to do this subject or really get into it, but I figured why not? Awareness and whatnot, I guess you can say. And we can see how people are dealing with this quote unquote subject. And yeah, we'll just see what happens. Now, the subject is obviously depression, so trigger warning. Probably might hear some bad stuff you don't want to hear, or whatever. Please be respectful in like the comments and stuff like that. If someone says something you don't agree with, just keep that like kind to yourself. You know what I mean? We're trying to be as respectful as we possibly can on here. We don't want to judge people. We're just here to observe, or at least you are. You're here to observe, watch, and maybe learn something, or like just see how certain things are going about this kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Hopefully this goes good, and guess we'll find out. I know it's still the intro, but thank you all for watching these videos. I like making them. You know, sometimes they take the energy out of me. You know what I'm saying? Like the Inside VRChat, that took a lot of energy out of me. Listening to some stuff that people had to say on there was very unsettling and upsetting. But I like doing them. It's fun, good times. Hear people's inputs about stuff, that whole sort of thing. But yeah, here we go. Inside depression. All right, so I hide names obviously for people that don't want to have their names out there. If you guys want to say your names, you can go ahead and do so. If not, then just remain anonymous.
Dude, my name is Nullvex. You can find me in
Yeah, I'm editing all that out. You're not doxing yourself. I'm not allowing it. Would you say you have any forms of depression?
No, not really.
No. How about you?
Yeah.
All right. What kind of forms of depression do you have?
I don't know which form, to be honest.
All right. Well, what caused
I
it
just
then?
know.
You giggling like this shit is a
When I first started having vertigo.
So you said you started having depression and stuff ever since you got vertigo. How long ago was that?
4 years now.
Does it cause you to have like panic attacks or anything like that?
Yeah.
When you do have one of these panic attacks, what do you do to like try to handle it or cope with it?
It's so bad to say. I actually smoke my problems away.
Cigarettes or weed or what?
Oh, okay, I got you.
Just weed.
How are you handling your overall depression outside of the attacks? Do you just like go with the flow of things, or is it like how is that?
That's what you mean.
It actually bothers me. Like my, you know, like that feeling where like everything's like all bottled up and it just wants to explode. That's how it usually is, but like think of it as you being a glass bottle. Last thing you want to do is shatter.
Tinder is not
Yeah.
So
dating apps,
bad.
My next question for you is, in your opinion, what is the best thing that helps with it? Is it the weed?
No, sleeping.
Sleeping? Okay. If you were to give advice to someone that has the same issue, like with vertigo and your type of depression, what advice would you give them to possibly help them with it?
It'll all be worth it.
How would you feel about
No, I'm not.
seeing a therapist or visiting a therapist for help, or is that not really for you?
Oh, hell no. I was, when I first found out about my depression, I was prescribed to go see a psychiatrist. My first interview was literally virtually, and they already tried to throw me on meds. That was the route I did not want to take. And they were like trying to persuade me.
That was it. Thank you very much for doing the interview. If you have plugs or anything you want to shout out, go for it. Sorry, I didn't really have any questions for you, man. It was mostly with people that do have it, not have it. But if you want to plug yourself too, feel free.
Sometimes I think this motherfucker might
If you guys want to shout out like your Instagram,
Can I do an
TikTok,
interview
whatever.
for you?
Yeah. Of course.
Don't get me wrong.
You guys have any
I have a
plugs?
lot of mental illnesses.
Oh my. Please Have my seat.
Basically, I'm just going to ask you questions about your depression and stuff like that. If you're uncomfortable with any of the questions, feel free to skip them. No pressure.
I'm never
So-
uncomfortable.
What form of depression do you have?
I have multiple conditions, including I have subpollen, so BPD, ODHD, and it means I can have extremely big mood switches and to a point that I can have extreme panic attacks and seizures, and I can be a whole different person at 1 minute and another minute. And then another factor of that is that I have borderline personality disorder. So a lot of my depression comes from that.
Alright. Let's ignore those people over there. What caused these mental issues?
I had a really rough childhood growing up. I grew up in the hood. I'm from New York.
Would you like to share a story from it, or are you not comfortable with that?
Well, it really depends. I got a lot of rough stories. We can go into the just normal just childhood trauma. A lot of my childhood I was locked in closets. So my mother used, while she was getting beaten by my father, she would lock me in closets. Or we can go to the fact that my dad shot my dog in front of me.
How long have you had depression? Like since you can remember, since your
Ever since I
childhood?
was probably 7.
Okay. Did something happen around the age of 7? Is that when your dad shot your dog, or locked in the
when I was
closets?
a-
Is that like?
Probably when I was around 7, I found out I had BPD, and then everything just went on rails. Around 10, I got raped. Around 11, I got raped again. Around 12, I tried taking over pills and I overdosed multiple times. 13, I tried doing sex, and that just didn't go well.
When you have panic attacks, what's the trigger? Do you have a trigger?
But mostly what the trigger is people yelling, loud noises, big communities, or just being under a lot of stress.
Okay, and whenever you're having one of these attacks, what do you do to handle it or cope with it?
I usually have someone at the time to help me calm down, or something can do what is probably not a really good idea, and definitely people should not go under, is that I usually do self-harm or overdosing, but it's really not a good thing.
How do you handle your overall depression? Like, what's a day-to-day for you?
My day-to-day is just trying to make sure I know everything's okay and nothing changes, because other than the fact I have autism and I hate change.
What's the best help in your opinion?
People. I like talking to people, socializing.
What's some advice you would give someone that has been through childhood trauma such as you? What advice would you give them to deal with their depression?
Definitely go talk to people you trust and love, and don't do anything bad. And don't just go into anger or overdosing or self-harm. Try and find someone to speak to. And if there's nobody you want to speak to, I would recommend to just go to someone you love or care for. Some things I know people do is that they write down in their notes how they feel.
Would you ever think about going to see a therapist, or is that not for you?
A therapist not for me, personally. The first time I ever had therapist, she kind of offed herself, so it didn't just go up well.
Well, that's all the questions I had for you. Thank you very much for your time. If you have any plugs you want to shout out, like a TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, whatever, you can do so. If you want.
Thanks. But I have nothing. I hope we can interview.
That's fine. That's fine. Thank you very much. So do any of you guys have depression and would like to be interviewed about it?
Nah, I'm not trying to cry right now.
Neither.
Alright. Valid. Alright, well, I appreciate it. No pressure. Thank you guys very much. You guys take care, alright? Hello, how's everybody doing over here?
Doing good. How about you, man?
Doing alright.
That's nice to hear. Keep doing that way, man.
Trying to.
If you keep doing that, yeah, I know. Hard times, life is not easy, you know. We got the hard times and stuff, but we can always get through them. You just gotta be more patient, you know. We all are gonna have a good future if we can make our future good. But some people don't realize it. From childhood,
that's good
you can
energy,
make
man.
your future
That's good energy.
Yeah. Yeah, man,
I
if you only think negative about all the things, you're never gonna get somewhere. Think positive, you know?
That is swag.
You probably don't remember me, but you did one of the interviews with me. I just wanted to tell you that you did a good job with that, and it was really nice.
Awesome, I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Yeah, no problem. Have a good day.
Yeah, you too. Do you want to be part of this interview? Do you want to be interviewed again?
Sure, why not?
What form of depression would you say you have?
I just get like really isolated and shit, and I don't want to be near anyone. It's just
Okay.
I used to self-harm and shit. I don't anymore though.
Do you know what caused your depression?
Probably family issues, I'd say.
Would you
My
like to
mom was a
provide an
drug addict.
example? Oh, okay. Well, there you
Yep,
go.
so was my dad. There's just a bunch of people at the house all the time.
How long have you had your depression?
Say about 10 years.
Do you ever get panic attacks? And if so, do you mind sharing what triggers them?
Large crowds of people. And yeah, I do. Large crowds of people. Loudness, a lot of talking at once, just chaotic things.
Whenever you have one of these panic attacks, let's say you're in the middle of a crowd, what would you do to like deal with it or cope with it in the moment?
Music, headphones, staying really close to the person I'm with.
How do you handle your overall depression? Like, what's a day to day to you?
Talking to people and just having like it's just someone to be there and talk to.
Or what's the best help in your opinion?
I'd say probably something you really like doing. Like personally, I like doing art, so I'll do that.
What advice would you give to someone that has the same type of depression you have? Like, they don't like big crowds or they've had bad parent stuff going on. What advice would you give them to get them through it?
Try to work through it as best as you can. Finding hobbies and things to do that you like to do help a lot. So.
What caused your deep depression?
Heartbreaks, loss of family, and friends. A lot of negative things. Like my best friend died. Like it's been 5 years already.
How long have you had your deep depression?
I had it since I was 10 years old.
How old are you now?
I'm 18.
Do you ever get panic attacks from this depression? And if so, what triggers those panic attacks?
What triggers those panic attacks is when people tell me that they're gonna kill themselves in front of me, or when they start telling me that they cut themselves or stuff like that, or that they see blood coming out of their arms or whatever. That's when it gets me a panic attack.
Okay, now let's say you're talking with a friend and they're saying these suicidal things and you start having an attack. How would you handle that situation?
I would try to calm myself down as quickly as I can and communicate with them as fast as possible.
Alright, and how do you handle your overall depression? What's like your day to day?
Waking up, taking deep breaths every now and then, going outside, getting some fresh air, walk around a bit. And then whenever I can, I'll talk to my friends, hang out, and take my mind off things.
What in your opinion is the best help for your depression?
I can't say therapy because therapy is kind of not really a good thing. But sometimes it is. What's helped me a lot is going outside, going for like 25 miles walk and just getting fresh air.
If you were to give advice to someone that has the same depression as you do with it's everything you have, what advice would you give them to help them out if they're having a moment?
Every now and then to take like deep breaths whenever you're gonna do something or talk to someone or whatever, and try to clear your mind with something positive as much as you can.
That's all the questions I have. I like to keep my interviews short. Thank you very much for your answering my questions. If you have any plugs or anything you want to shout out, you can do so now. If not, then I'll just be on my way.
I want to shout out to this one right here.
All right.
He has a TikTok.
Hey, what's the TikTok?
His TikTok name is unknown underscore at the end. The underscore is at the end, and he's a really good TikTok streamer because he does a lot of fun things like play music and shit like that.
Okay. What form of depression do you have, or would you say you have? And what caused your depression? You ever get panic attacks from your depression? If so, what are the big triggers from them? If you were triggered by one of these things, what would you do to cope with it or calm yourself down? What is the best help for overall depression in your opinion? if someone has like the same sort of depression and whatnot that you have, what advice would you give them to help them out? All right. From the
Yeah, go
top,
ahead.
first
Yeah.
question I have for you is, what form of depression would you say you have?
Reason why I say I'm like depressed is basically is because I have a kid that I don't get to see, and I had a family, and I lost all of that, and so I'm living with my parents currently, and I just miss seeing my son or being around my son and being the father I need, that I want to be. The opportunity was taken from me, so whenever I think of my son or just remember or watch any of his videos, I just tend to be more like depressed, especially like my son's birthday is coming up pretty soon. I'm starting to get more emotional about it because I have a restraining order on me and I can't see my kid at all.
Do you ever get like panic attacks from it or anything like that? And if you do, what triggers? No, no panic attacks.
No, I don't get panic attacks. I just like cry. That's about it. To be honest, I just become like it's hard to do anything. To be honest, but mostly I just cry and just scream and yell.
Whenever you're having one of these crying moments and yelling moments, what do you do to try to like cope with it or calm yourself?
To be honest, the way I cope with it is just like, prayer, just taking my time to focus on God, attending my Bible studies and telling people my struggles.
All right, how do you handle your overall depression? Like, what's a day to day for you to like handle it all?
To be honest, making content, cleaning my room, trying to stay productive, apply for jobs. I'm trying to do and try. It's hard to do it, but gain the motivation to at least clean the rest of the other parts of the house if I can.
All right, in your opinion, what is the best help for depression?
Been Christian for 9 months. I couldn't find any other satisfaction through a lot of unhealthy coping mechanisms. Usually, like when I say unhealthy, I mean like sex, right? Mostly it was a sex addict. Porn, drinking, a lot of that stuff, but now the healthy one I do mostly is just prayer, right? And study my Bible and just have fellowship and attend church every Sunday and trying to get back on it with college.
If you ran into someone that was having the same problems that you were in life, like pretty much right to the T, the same problems, what advice would you give them?
First thing I would say is that you're loved. You're never alone in this pain. That this world, there's a reason why Scripture calls this world the valley of shadow of death, because there's a lot of suffering and not enough love. We gotta admit that we're all broken at some point, like to some point or to some degree, we're all broken. We're never perfect at all. We're not perfect beings. If we were, this world would be a better place, but it's not. Showing love and kindness is the first thing I would do, but the advice I would say, like I said, was this world is full of suffering, and though you are suffering similar as me or the same as me, that I'm going to try my best to be here for you. The advice I would give is essentially that not to give up, that 1 John 4:4, the God who is within you is greater than he who is within the world. And that since there is a God in you, Holy Spirit, right, the Spirit of God, all things are possible. That anything that's put in front of you, if it's a person, if it's some type of object or or some figurative stumbling block, right? That you can beat this mentally, physically. You can do this because through God, through Christ, we can do all things. Philippians 4:13. So I would just tell him some scripture about him or her, and just try to involve him or her into the church and help them and to have community and to make sure they're okay.
That's all the questions I had for you. So if you want to plug the TikTok, you can. Want to say what the username and all that is?
Oh yeah, sure, I guess. Well, my TikTok is Faith of Steel, Faith _of _steel. So if anyone wants to check out my content, that's where you could find my stuff. I'm trying to gain the motivation to post more videos.
Alright, just wanted to thank you all very much for watching this video. Also, if you're watching this video and you're going through any suicidal thoughts or thoughts of depression or anything like that, there is help. All you have to do is call or text the number 988. Again, that is 988. That is a suicide in crisis lifeline. Just reach out to them. You don't have to call them if you're not comfortable with calls. You don't have to do that. You can just text this number. Reach out to them. Express yourself. Tell them how you're feeling. And if you're not comfortable with that, you can always text a loved one, text a family member, text a friend, text someone like that. Tell them exactly how you're feeling. Try your best not to sugarcoat it. Just tell them straight up how you feel. If not, you can always go to that number. Once again, that number is 988. But yes, thank you all for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hopefully you learned something or got some insight about how people are handling and dealing with their depression. If you have depression as well, I wish the best to you. You'll be able to get through it. Life gets better. I promise. Alright, you all take care.
Just to fall into this trap.